Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Okayest Trapper podcast. Now, this one's going to be a lot different and a lot shorter than usual. So it's midsummer here in Idaho. Every day is over 100 degrees, or at least getting close to it up in the mountains, and it's pretty toasty. And what I thought I would do this week, instead of having a guest, is that I would just give a little update for people who are new to the podcast, for people who are just starting to tune in, and to give a little bit of a foreshadowing of what we have in store in the future. So, as you all know, I am an adult onset trapper. I've been trapping for the past 5 or 6 years. I've been learning a lot, and this podcast truly started kind of out of selfish means of having an outlet where I could talk to people who are way smarter than me, who have way more experience than me, in hopes that I, and subsequently you listeners, could soak up things from people across the country. I think we've done a pretty good job of that. I know for me personally, I have learned tons from every single guest that I've had on, both from a personal life perspective as well as trapping. To give a foreshadowing, like we have a lot of really great guests lined up, folks such as Fred Eichler, Gary Jepson. Who else do we have on the docket? Bryce Jackson, Justin Webb from Foundation for Wildlife Management, and the list goes on. And I'm really excited about this conversation. Some that have already been recorded, some that have still yet to be recorded. But, one thing is I want to hear from you, the listener. What are things that are going well in this podcast? What do you like? What do you dislike? What would you like to see? Please, if you can, just reach out to me through Instagram is probably the best, even though I check it kind of irregularly, but that's at Let Me Die Learning. And let me know what you want to hear, or if you have specific guests that you think would be great for the show. And to be honest, a lot of the guests that have started to come out have been through word of mouth. Folks reaching out and saying, "Hey, I listened to an episode, and I have a friend who traps, or a friend who just started trapping, and put me in contact." So I appreciate the interaction, but I also am looking for feedback. So with that, I want to wish everybody a very happy summer as we go into the second half of the year. It's hard to believe it's already been a full 6 months since this podcast started. We've had over 25 guests, and we're going to probably have another 25 plus more to get us to the end of the year. Big shout out to Eric Clark and the Okayest Hunter Network, and the growing number of podcasts they have under their wing. And for all those who have either purchased my book, Turning Feral, in the process and read it and given feedback, thank you. Those who haven't, I do encourage you to go give it a read. I think it's a lot of fun, a lot of humor. You might be picking that up through the podcast itself. Give it a rating if you haven't. Give this podcast a rating if you haven't. And yeah, we're going to have a great second half of the year. I look forward to it. Look forward to having you all tune in. See you on the next episode.